From a suspect who crashed straight into a tree, to a suspect who crashed underneath a box truck trailer while fleeing from police, to a suspect in a Porsche who crashed into a man who was towing a car, and many more. On October 11th, 2022, Trooper Brady Bates was on patrol when he spotted a pickup truck with expired tags and pulled behind it with lights and sirens activated. The driver pulled over to the side of the road and the trooper approached, obtaining the driver's ID before returning to his patrol car to run the information. What came back changed everything. The driver had a felony warrant for burglary, resisting, and fleeing. But before Trooper Bates could approach the driver again, the suspect realized he was in trouble and took off, fleeing head-on into traffic.
.33 Newport, 1037. Fixing to be coming up on William Baptist. Traffic is medium.
See it at West Comments.
Me 33 Jonesboro.
833.
I'll be 1037, 67 north.
Yeah. 833, 1037, 67 north. Go ahead, black, Nissan.
It's going to be a big It's going into oncoming traffic.
After the trooper attempted to line up for a pit for a second time, the suspect swerved all the way to the other side of the road, now going over 100 miles per hour, the wrong way into oncoming traffic. Because of that, the trooper had to stay in his lane and wait, either for the suspect to come back or just hoping that someone innocent doesn't get in trouble because of him.
Rolling about 85, 90. Still northbound on the southbound shoulder.
There's the only one on the shoulder. What's the traffic light coming out?
He's going to be wrecked out.
Hands! You better get down right now! You better crawl the down!
The truck came to a stop after a horrific crash, and the driver was inside, quickly arrested by responding troopers. But the passenger was ejected halfway through the crash, and troopers found her unresponsive. She was quickly transported to the hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. When it comes to the suspect who had a warrant and now fled from troopers once again, he got himself in even bigger trouble that won't let him drive again for a long time. It was January 24th, 2022, when a silver BMW pulled out of the Oyster Pub and Grill, a local bar on Market Street in Dalton. A lieutenant noticed the improper turn onto Walnut Avenue, and the lack of insurance activated his emergency blue lights, but the BMW didn't stop. Instead, the driver hit the gas and entered the northbound entrance ramp onto I-75, disappearing into the darkness. The lieutenant didn't pursue, but radioed ahead with a critical detail. Dalton police had observed a rifle in the back seat earlier that night. A Whitfield County Sheriff's deputy spotted the BMW weaving all over the roadway at 112 miles per hour in a 70 miles per hour zone. He activated his lights and siren, but the driver wasn't stopping, pushing the BMW even harder as the pursuit intensified. trooper knew the vehicle had just left a bar and was all over the road, clear signs of an impaired driver behind the wheel. He observed erratic lane changes without signaling, weaving within lanes, and speeds hitting 125 miles per hour through a 60 miles per hour construction zone. Concerned the driver would cause a catastrophic crash, and with no safe options for a box-in or spike strips, the trooper knew the pit maneuver was the only option to stop this suspect. After the pit, the driver was ejected from the vehicle during the rollover. The trooper rushed to where he landed and found him leaning to his left shoulder with no signs of breathing. He retrieved medical gloves, returned and repositioned the driver's head to open his airway, but there were still no signs of life. Puckett Emergency Medical Services arrived and confirmed he was deceased. On December 26, 2023, Warren police officers were on patrol and conducted a traffic stop on a red 2015 Chevy Cruze in Warren, Michigan, for a traffic violation. The officers approached the male driver, explained why they stopped him, and asked for his identification. The driver told officers he didn't have his ID, and they asked him to step out of the vehicle. Instead, the suspect put the vehicle in drive and sped off.
Dreads? Dreads. 20 short dreads. And headed to 10 Mile. Black male, Indian build dreads. Taxi to Smoke Farms. Whoever's walking up there. Center line's blocking. It's up in the grass. Just parallel. All right, we got the lead again from center line. He's jumping through the grass just south of 10 and east on Lawrence. Somebody go to Sherwood in 10 Mile for me. All right, we're by that apartment complex just east of Sherwood, coming out to 10. All right, west on 10. You're good, clear, sorry.
Yep. Approaching Sherwood.
Through Sherwood.
The suspect continued driving recklessly, ignoring all traffic laws as he weaved through the streets of Warren at dangerous speeds. Further down the road, he ran a red light at full speed and crashed violently with a semi-truck trailer, the Chevy Cruze sliding underneath the trailer of a truck that was passing through the intersection on a green light. The impact was catastrophic, metal twisting and glass shattering as the Cruze became wedged beneath the massive trailer.
Oh. 50 into a box truck. He's underneath the box truck. Airbags deployed. Let's shut this intersection down.
Stay right there.
Stay there.
Can you hear me in there? Can you hear me in there? Can you hear me in there?
He's going to be good inside the vehicle. Just don't fire him.
The suspect died at the scene from the devastating impact. There were no other injuries reported. Officers would later learn he did have a warrant for a traffic offense, a misdemeanor. After the crash, police recovered a stolen handgun in his vehicle. It was March 3rd, 2022, when a Trooper Thomas was conducting traffic enforcement on Interstate 85, northbound near mile marker 92, when he spotted a silver Porsche Cayman traveling at a high rate of speed and making improper lane changes. He entered the roadway to conduct a traffic stop, and while driving behind the vehicle, observed the driver failed to maintain their lane. Once he activated his lights and sirens, the driver didn't slow down, instead continuing to speed and drive in a reckless manner with improper lane changes to flee.
He's gonna be a 1080. Going northbound, coming up to exit 96. He's an HOV. Exit 96, North Crest Road, 96. Still northbound, number 1 lane. Clear, northbound, number 1 lane.
The driver continued northbound past mile marker 96 with reckless disregard for the motoring public, reaching speeds more than 119 miles per hour and making several improper lane changes through traffic. Eventually, the Porsche came to the right shoulder around mile marker 99, and while driving on the shoulder, the driver lost control of the vehicle and struck a tow truck that was loading a disabled white pickup truck, the Porsche lodging itself under the white truck in a catastrophic collision.
Looks like he's jumping towards exit 99. It's terrible. Okay, we're jumping towards exit 99. Yeah, he's probably taking this exit. Stand by. Looks like a 1050, real bad 1050. 1050. Go ahead and start at 52 to 51 as well. 1050. They're going to be front porch in the car. You stupid. Hey, show me your hands. Both of them. Don't move.
There's somebody over there. Somebody over there. This guy hit somebody and you see him?
Oh, you stupid. Don't you goddamn move. Get out. Get out. I don't care if you fall. Get out. Lay down.
The trooper arrested the driver and placed him in front of the patrol vehicle, immediately requesting an ambulance and the specialized collision reconstruction team to respond. The bystander who was struck was later identified as Hugo Martinez, and he was pronounced dead at the scene, and the driver, who was identified as Victor Allen Smith. The suspect was cleared by on-scene emergency services, and before being placed in the rear of a patrol vehicle, he was patted down, where $3,200 in cash was found on his person. He was transported to Northside Gwinnett Hospital, later medically cleared and transported to Gwinnett County Jail, where he was transferred to jail personnel without further incident. It was October 12, 2024, when a Trooper Evans responded to Bainbridge Public Safety due to a chase in progress around West Street. Bainbridge officers were requesting a trooper be en route after attempting to stop a vehicle for a tag frame, aggressive driving, and failure to maintain lane. While trying to stop the vehicle, it made several aggressive turns and almost crashed into a BPS officer's vehicle before turning onto West Street and then onto GA 309 South. The last radio traffic reported the vehicle traveling past mile post 11 on GA 309, and the chase was on. The trooper managed to catch up to the suspect despite the speed he was driving at. With that speed, it was either the suspect was going to pay the consequences of his actions, or an innocent driver would get in serious trouble, so the trooper wasn't going to let that happen.
Pit. Milepost 1, copy. Milepost 1, roll over, go ahead and send EMS.
Trooper Evans turned around and cleared the vehicle, but no one was inside. They started searching, and a BPS officer found the driver lying face down in the ditch next to a drain culvert. Officer Moore rolled him over and started CPR. Then Trooper Evans took over, still feeling a heartbeat, but the subject had no movement in his eyes or body. They continued CPR until fire department arrived and took over, but EMS pronounced him deceased at 6:36 p.m. A search of the vehicle and driver's pockets found approximately 2 pounds of marijuana in a black trash bag and $5,010 in cash. It was March 2nd, 2025, when the Wisconsin State Patrol and Iowa County Sheriff's Department received a driving complaint about a vehicle traveling 140 miles per hour and passing other vehicles on the median and the shoulder. Shortly later, a state trooper clocked a vehicle going 110 miles per hour on the other side of the highway that matched the description of the reported vehicle. A deputy from the Iowa County Sheriff's Department heard the trooper over the police radio that the vehicle was traveling at 110 miles per hour and coming his way, then saw a Lexus approaching from the rear of his squad and used his rear radar to clock it, traveling 120 miles per hour.
147, 1080. AXX 5517. Left lane, currently 117. Moved over to the right lane.
Great lane, subway traffic.
120 passing Highway T, still northbound on 151. Moving into the right lane to go around traffic.
Northbound on the 151. Around the Highway 2. Left.
The suspect slowed down multiple times as if he was going to stop before abruptly accelerating and driving erratically. The trooper was able to read the license plate before suspect began passing multiple vehicles again, top speeds reaching 135 miles per hour.
Vehicle from the right lane to the left lane, passing Highway F. Back to the right lane.
Speed 135, passing Highway F.
Speed 125. And it looks like we're slowing down again. We just slowed down to 90. 25.
120, right lane, approaching lost control.
Vehicle lost control, 1050 into the right. Multiple rolls. Vehicle lost control, 1050 into the right. Multiple rolls.
The suspect lost control and went airborne and began flipping in the air, law enforcement losing sight of where it landed. Law enforcement immediately began searching for the driver, and the state trooper climbed over a fence and located the vehicle upside down. It was difficult to see inside, and there was no response from anyone.
There was an ejection. That's what the trooper said. Why? I don't know. He didn't see anyone running, I thought.
The dog would help with that too.
Well, that's why I didn't really want to mess up the scent, you know. But
he's gonna put it in there.
We have multiple units here on scene, including EMS. Nobody was located inside the vehicle, so they're on foot. We have K9 and drone en route.
An officer brought a drone to the scene and it successfully located the driver lying down approximately 20 yards southeast of where the vehicle came to rest. EMS determined that he was deceased. It was later discovered that he was the sole occupant of the vehicle. On December 31st, 2022, an officer was stationary on Interstate 95 in Cecil County, Maryland, when he spotted a vehicle going way over the limit and passing vehicles on the shoulder. He quickly got onto the interstate and followed the speeding vehicle, the driver spotting the officer a short time after and just continuing to drive as he was before, despite the lights and sirens activated by the officer. The officer informed other units he was in pursuit.
He's speeding up 100 miles on the shoulder.
I had the mother been from their car. She was a little bit upset. Father won't let her know where he's taking her kids. She can ask me to a license card.
1114, if you just want to exit to the northbound. North at the 970.1.
Fresh owner, Linda G. 904, Maryland, 522,
97.993. She's accelerating again, back up to 200. Back to
As the chase progressed, the suspect disappeared into the fog, the officer, however, still continuing to try to get close. After a short time, he caught up, and once the suspect saw an officer behind him again, he took an exit while still going at an extremely high rate of speed, and we all know what's about to happen next.
We're actually taking the Elkton exit. Going south, 1050, 1050 on the exit, 1050.
1050 on the exit ramp.
Vehicle's on fire, start fireboards. Can you hear me?
Northeast, I believe they're the ramp from northbound.
As you can see, the crash was horrific. The officers tried everything to get to the suspect as soon as possible and get him out of the car to transport him to the hospital. But the suspect died on impact after that crash. He chose to flee instead of accepting a traffic ticket and paid for that decision with his life on the exit ramp. This proves once again that you should never flee from police. Some decisions you don't come back from, and on December 31st, 2022, this suspect made his last one. On June 8th, 2021, Trooper First Class Moore had just finished pumping gas when Troop D Communications informed several posts of an agency assist for Troup County. Dispatch stated that Troup County deputies were pursuing a black BMW for failing to stop for a traffic stop. The trooper informed dispatch he was setting up at mile marker 14 to assist if the pursuit made it to his location. As he pulled to the right shoulder and waited, dispatch stated stop sticks were being deployed at the 19-mile marker. As the pursuit approached in his rearview mirror, Trooper Moore entered the chase at mile marker 14, and the hunt was on. As the chase progressed, the suspect increased speed to 115 miles per hour and started weaving in and out of traffic, almost crashing into a vehicle at one point. Waves of water from Mr. Caldwell's car kept hitting the trooper's windshield, limiting his field of view. As traffic opened, Trooper Moore set up for a pit once he saw an opening and placed his left driver's side bumper. Here's the moment when both the suspect and the trooper exchanged fire. The suspect was struck multiple times in the exchange. EMS was already on their way, but there was no help for the suspect. With a series of dumb decisions, he got his life ended that day. He was identified as Kevin Caldwell. Other officers removed him from the vehicle and began rendering medical aid before he was transported to the local hospital, but his injuries were fatal. On December 25th, 2024, just before 8:30 in the evening on Christmas Eve, an Arkansas State Police trooper clocked a 2006 Honda Pilot traveling 98 miles per hour on Interstate 40 westbound near the 66-mile marker and pulled it over for a traffic stop. The driver, a 33-year-old man from Hampton, Virginia, stepped out and gave the trooper a false name and date of birth. What the trooper didn't know yet was that this man was wanted in Virginia for fleeing, giving false identification, and possession of a controlled substance. When the trooper began to verify his information, the suspect made his choice, jumped back into the Honda Pilot, and fled westbound at high speed.
J26, I'm at the 84. Still coming to you.
1037.
Once the suspect accelerated to a higher speed, and with danger rising by the second, the trooper knew he had to react. He shifted gears and got closer to the suspect to show him he wasn't here to play games.
TVI. Then 1016, roll over.
Trooper made contact with the Honda Pilot and sent it spinning off the roadway. The vehicle traveled into a wooded area north of the interstate, striking multiple trees with violent force before coming to a final rest deep in the brush. Upon reaching the final rest location of the Honda Pilot, a deceased black male was observed leaning out from the front passenger window with severe trauma to the head. Located on the body was a revolver containing 1 spent round and 5 live rounds, a black digital scale, and 2 $1 bills with a white powdery residue suspected to be cocaine.